So if I was to ask you people out there in listenership land, just rattle off 5 things humans are doing right now to trash the environment. I bet you could do it in an instant, like boom. So I did that to myself. I didn't even think about it. Burning fossil fuels, mass use of fertilizers, overconsumption of fast fashion, microplastics, humans encroaching on pristine habitats. My fast thoughts are fancy. Now, anyone out there, and you guys, you know, William and others, would be thinking, yeah, I had some of those and I've got a few others. I came up with a bunch more. There are plenty. And there are big ticket items and less big ticket items. But this week, I heard about a new threat that could have huge implications on our energy consumption, and it is politeness.
It's time for a little bit of science. I'm Will Grant, Associate Professor of Science Communication at the Australian National University.
Whoa, I'm Rod Lamberts, a 30-year science communication veteran with the mind of a teenage boy.
And today, for your little bit of science, we've got some cunning linguistics.
We got a little bit of ethics and the schmethics.
We've got some aliens.
Yes, we do.
And I've learned a new word.
I can't wait to hear about that, but I'm going to have to, right?
Politeness. What's the problem with politeness, man?
I know. It's hilarious. Politeness is trashing the environment, or is going to be. So there was a survey, 2024. It found that 67% of US folks who responded to the survey are really nice to their chatbots.
I am, aren't you?
Not anymore. Now I'm just like, do it, bitch, and hurry up.
Look, I'm going to confess.
Not that I've ever used one. This is all natural.
I've been following this bit of research as well. Every time I ask my my silly artificial intelligent chatbot to set a timer or to play a piece of music, I say please. Do you say please?
No. So of those people, of the 2/3 of respondents, just over half of them said they do it. They're polite and nice to their chatbots because it's the right thing to do. It's just the right thing to do.
I think it probably is. I've got some reasons why I do it. I don't know the right thing to do. I wouldn't go as far as that. You're a nice fella.
You just do the right thing. It's in your genes.
There's one reason where it's like, I'm worried about the robot apocalypse, but I'll come to that later. No, I was actually the reason I do it is maybe that I've got kids in the house and I want to indicate that saying please and thank you no matter what is probably a decent thing to do. You know, the difference between saying, you know, hey Siri, play some music versus hey Siri, could you play some music please? No, I feel like that's a nicer way to ask, and the kids will be like, oh, you should treat other people with respect, whether they're
Not people. Siri, music now. Siri, music Hurry now. The fuck up.
Really? So, so you don't believe in being polite to your robot assistants?
I'm not rude. I'm just not fluffy. I save it for people. I've only got so much niceness in me each day, and then the well runs dry before I have to replenish it overnight. So apparently, a Twitter user sort of got onto some of this stuff. X, formerly known as Twitter. And they, depending on how you report it, asked the question, how much money does OpenAI lose in electricity costs from people saying please and thank you to their models? Which I think is a fantastic question. Never crossed my mind. I'm not impolite because I'm trying to save the environment, but I will say that now.
Well, look, I mean, just aside from the please and thank you, we've got to recognise any request on a large language model or a search engine has environmental and energy costs. Large language models, I think, I don't have the data here, are a few times more expensive than a regular search on Google. You know, I saw one thing here. This was Neil Johnson, a physics professor who's done a bunch of work on the costs of AI. It's like when you add please and thank you, you're wrapping in more complexity in there, and it's just literally going to cost it more. It's like he described it as like the wrapping you get around the packaging on something. If you're just buying the product, but then you've got extra layers of plastic, then you've got to process that, and there's an environmental impact to that.
Absolutely there is. Well, the numbers I saw, depending on who you believe, but data centers that power the chatbots use something like 2% of the world's energy.
That's great.
That's
or not great.
No, yeah. Sorry, I said that wrong. Only 2%.
Yeah, well.
Calm down, people. So apparently Sam Altman, so the OpenAI CEO, ChatGPT, Papa, etc., he said, oh, yeah, look, honestly, please and thank you being asked to their chatbots is costing him quite big time.
So the first person said, I wonder how much money OpenAI has lost in electricity costs from people saying please and thank you. And Sam Altman said tens of millions of dollars.
Yeah.
But here's the bit that I was intrigued. Tens of millions of dollars well spent. So I was like, oh, what does he mean well spent? Is he like worried about like the robot apocalypse? And it's like, or Rocco's basilisk. Like out into the future, you've got the AI overlord that's going to come and kill us all, put us in a torture chamber, whatever it is. And is he thinking if you say please and thank you now, we're less likely to have that sort of, and you by your instructional comments, hey robot, just do shit. And you're bringing on basilisk.
To be fair, I don't add shit either because that's extra as well.
And I, by being polite, am trying to, make sure that we have nicer robot overlords.
Well, he did, that quote went on with, why'd you do it? He's like, well, you never know. So that kind of summarised it. He's like, well, you never know. I mean, maybe it's a good idea. And I mean, look, the one article I read, so it goes on to say like, artificial intelligence is often more like a prediction machine, like predictive text, etc. But it has more autonomy. It can spit out more creative sentences, etc., etc. So there's a Microsoft designer. They say, look, if you have proper etiquette, it helps generate respectful, collaborative outputs.
I've certainly seen versions of this. Now, I'm not going to get it exactly phrased right, but I've seen versions where if you do a request and you say things like "take your time" or "do a good job," it actually does a better job. Like,
let's take your time in computer time. Oh yeah, I'm going to take 1 picosecond instead of 0.1 picosecond.
That would be the instruction. Rather than. For humans, rather than reacting with a knee jerk, this is, use your system to thinking if you have that large language model.
Use your emotions.
And so that Microsoft argument there is that you do get sort of higher levels of professionalism when you are talking to it in a more professional tone.
Well, not only that, even more basic than that, they're saying basically if you're politer, then the responses that are generated are influenced by the way you tone it. And so you get politer responses as well. So maybe that does matter to people. Like if my AI spat back at me, here it is, you fuckwit, I'd kind of be amused.
No, I would clap. I was like,
But a lot of people might not. Like, don't hassle me, man. And here it is. And I'm going to get to it, etc. So, I mean, that's one of the ideas. But I like the idea of how much energy. So one calculation, apparently WAPO, Washington Post, hung out with University of California. And this is a rough comparator. And the energy impacts of generating a 100-word email is basically equivalent to 14 hours of 14 LED lights running for an hour.
Oh,
so
okay.
And we all know that's I know you know this, but others don't know this. 0.14 kilowatt hours. Yeah, I know a kilowatt is a lot more than a watt.
No, look, I think we need to think about the whole system. Like when you say things like 2% of the world's energy, or it's bringing on climate change an extra 6 months early or 2 years early. It's like
6 months.
Yeah. But now whatever it is, give me it to you in terms like the whole thing. I think a 100-word email, yes, it has an energy cost, but if we're comparing it to an LED, like that's just really hard to understand.
This is my standard comparison for energy. When I talk to people about changing electricity providers, I go, so how many 100-word emails is that? Or if you could help me, how much cheaper is it for me to run 14 LEDs for an hour? I mean, help me out here, man. I'm trying to help you sell to me.
So back on the topic though, are you of the belief then that you should not be polite? So your point is environmentally, it's more important to not be polite.
Yes, it's not my point. It's stuff I read. I am but a delivery mechanism.
Give us your verdict.
No, I reckon I just don't really care about the politeness. Like, as I say, I don't waste, it takes energy to be rude as well, but just to be instrumental doesn't take a lot of energy. And I'm not too worried about that. If we have a functional, transactional relationship, me and the machine, just get on with it.
But I've got 3 reasons. I got like, you should indicate politeness to the people around you. I saw a study actually that was saying that people that are impolite to robots are more likely to be impolite to humans.
Shut up.
And this is there is a learning factor going on here that we're creating a more impolite society. Whereas if you are so this is about the human interaction, that you're just saying something communicative to the robot, but other people are listening, other people are hearing, and it's affecting your own thinking.
So which species are you prepared to lose, man?
Oh, look, I'm
being nice and teaching your children the right way to interact with humans. Which species are you prepared to sacrifice?
Well, clearly not the humans, but there's one reason to be polite. 2, you get better answers. as we just said, and 3,
I want him on.
there's the robot uprising. I saw this thing that was saying
The only good reason.
12%.
That's the only good
12% of the people who are polite are doing it to appease the algorithm in case of the robot uprising.
Do you know the weirdest thing about that statistic? Only 12%. I would have thought it'd be closer to 50%. Like, just in case. It's like,
I feel
do you believe in God? No. Do you go to church? Well, you never know.
I think I'm a little bit of both. My reason for doing it is so that the kids hear me being polite, but the other part is I don't mind baking in a little bit of, I was the one that was nice to you, robot killer Siri in the future.
A little bit of both. So you're saying you're non-binary when it comes to being polite.
I have multiple
polite.
reasons to be polite. And you are rude straight out, and you've just gone, now I'm allowed to be because environmentally I'm better.
Exactly.
You can be haughtily rude.
Exactly, because I give a shit about turtles, you son of a bitch. Speaking of turtles, actually unrelated, apparently you have some cunning linguistics for me, and I bloody love that. I love it.
So have you ever heard the argument that our Indigenous friends in northern Canada, the Inuit, have, I don't know, 7, a dozen, 100, 200 words for snow?
In fact, what I heard is 98% of the language is words for snow.
98%.
And then there's if, but, and.
Yeah, that's it. Yeah,
that's what I heard.
Well, I've got some interesting updates on that story. I know you've done a bit of linguistics in your time, Rod. I assume, based on one of the articles I was just reading before, that if you put the argument that Inuit have 100 words for snow to a linguist, that it will drive them wild in the way that probably not much else.
Sexually?
No, I'm doubting that. I'm thinking a lot more like they got.
I hear you have 100 words for snow. Say it again.
The idea that the Inuit have a lot of words for snow has been around for about 100 years. It first came around about 1911. A guy named Franz Boas, he didn't go out there and say, they have heaps and heaps of words, but he was describing some of their language, and he said, you can see different root words that we might use as snow to describe different concepts. So
how many words for root do they have?
I'll tell you about that in a bit. Actually,
I've got about 400.
I don't have that data, but I will tell you something
that
about that. I'll tell you about something. For North American listeners, root is a synonym for intercourse.
Of the sexual
in the Australian
variety.
parlance.
Yes.
No. So, he would say, they've got different words for snow that's on the ground, snow that you're walking in, versus snow that's falling and drifting snow and a snowdrift. So he pointed to 4 different words, and I'm not going to try and butcher them by saying what those words are.
Go on.
But he wasn't really trying to raise a theory here. He just pointed to a few different ones.
Yep.
But then it was picked up again in the 1940s. A guy named Benjamin Whorf.
Sapir-Whorf hypothesis.
Exactly.
Love that shit.
So
love that shit.
Gimme, what is the Sapir-Whorf hypothesis?
The simplest version that I recall from my 1980s linguistics classes was that basically your language literally shapes your perception and understanding of the world around you. Like, it actually gets to a point where the mechanisms used to describe it almost change your perception or affect your perception. That's the gist.
Was there, and so here's the question, was there some element of the world around you then also describing your language? So like setting parameters.
Two-way kind of, yeah.
As in, the reason for this being that Inuit see a lot of snow and so are more likely to have words for snow than, say, Polynesians or something like that.
Yeah, I read an argument that was I think the Dani of New Guinea. Mm-hmm. God, shit, I'm remembering early stuff, but they apparently had a bizarrely detailed colour spectrum for certain sort of what we'd call reds and browns, basically, and that may have been a reflection on their environment having a lot of reds and browns, and then there were subtle distinctions between things that we'd be like, that's red, that's brown.
Yeah, good.
Yeah.
All right, I'll come back to that. Thank you for the linguistics theory. It's actually really useful for this. So Whorf picked this up, and in part raising this Sapir-Whorf theory, but he would say he came to looking at the Inuit.
Can we just clarify? He's no relation to the Star Trek Klingon half human.
I can't clarify that.
Battle master.
I can't clarify.
Different Whorf.
They're the only 2 Whorfs I've ever heard of. So let's assume they have to be related. Like it's
fair call. Actually, you're right. You're right.
We have the same word for falling snow, snow on the ground, snow packed hard like ice, slushy snow, wind-driven flying snow, whatever the situation may be. Yeah. To an Eskimo, this is all-inclusive word would be almost unthinkable. He would say that falling snow, slushy snow, and so on are sensuously and operationally different, would have different words for them. So he's picked that up and he's got like 7 different terms here. Yeah. And this is reasonable in the linguistics world and I think a reasonable place for discussion. But popular science went, oh, well, fuck, they've got whatever.
It's going to be a million then.
So, literally.
We've discovered 10. We don't know what else is there. Let's call it 10,000.
It's not quite 10,000. I read this great article by Jeffrey Pullum, who's pretty big linguist, and he wrote this angrily about the words for snow hypothesis.
Sorry, the image of an angry linguist.
He's like, in Lanford Wilson's 1978 play, The 5th of July, it's 50 different words for snow. In 1984, we can
Is that the whole play?
No, as in like, no, it's not 50 words for snow. It's like 50 shades of grey. It's like 50. But like he's saying that it was raised that they've got 50 words for snow. Okay. He was looking around in the early 80s and he's like, he could find in a trivia encyclopedia, it's 9 different words for snow. A New York Times editorial said it was 100 different words for snow. A weather forecast that he saw said 200 words for snow. So people are just going, those people up there, they have like infinity words for snow, as you said.
Like lots. I love that. What is it? Trivia dictionary. We're going to go too far. I'm looking for a lot of words for something and I don't have the internet yet because it hasn't been invented. Trivia dictionary. Dictionary.
Anyway, so amongst linguistics professionals, it's probably, now I'm not speaking for the whole profession, and I will come to that in a second. It's probably been not completely rejected, but definitely calmed down from them. They've got 50 different words or 100 different words. It's like, there's probably a bit more there. But some of the key work was done in the 1980s when an anthropologist did some work up with the Inuit and found that, yes, they do have a variety of different words for snow, but not radically different from what you'd find in other snow-bearing peoples, Scotland or whatever like that. But a new challenger has entered the ring.
Ooh.
So we've got a team of linguists, psychologists and computer scientists from the University of Melbourne have done things a little bit differently. And what they've done is they've compiled this huge data set of bilingual dictionaries, done some cool computer science, and they've looked not just at snow, but they've looked at all languages and seen, okay, which ones talk about different concepts more and have more versions of use for that term. So just as an example, we'll step off snow. I'll come back to snow in a second. Yeah. So the word for horse, again, unlikely to come up in Polynesian language.
Wait, horse or whores?
Horse. No, horse.
Oh, horse.
Like,
okay. Yeah, that's still not clearing it up for me, but I have some strange proclivities. Carry on.
You're more likely, like the top scoring languages, the ones that talked about horses more and had more words for horse were in French, German, Kazakh, and Mongolian. You can get the Mongolian
and Dothraki.
And Dothraki as well. Yeah. So basically what they've got is this great data set that looks at all languages around the world and compares how much different concepts turn up in those languages. Now,
that's cool.
Just to pause for a second, they don't have perfect data here because a word could come up in a dictionary in 3 different ways. One is where you've got different words for horse or different words for snow, and that's what we're looking for. So different words for the same concept. Another is words related to that concept. So like a shoe for a horse or something like, or to hobble a horse. That's interesting. And the third is when it might be turning up as an example, like
look a horse.
Yeah, the example is not about snow at all or something like that, but it's just, so there is some imperfections in this data.
Like an elephant shits like a horse. It's not about the horse.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. That's it. All I'm saying, the data isn't 100% perfect, but it allows us to look at all sorts of different terms out there and see who has most likely a variety of words.
How many words for fuck do Australians have?
I've got to bring this data up. I'll go through a few that I've looked up, and then you can suggest a few more. So to clear it up first, they reckon of all of the 616 languages that they looked at, snow, was top scoring, as in had the most variety and most use amongst the Inuit. So
I
it's
think
true.
you say Australian tourists in Japan.
It's true. What are you like?
Like in Nisiko and stuff, where you're just like, there's so many different kinds of snow.
Powder, man. Powder. This is gross powder. This is great powder. This is wild. I don't know why we're in California.
Hot powder, yeah. So really, it's at some level verified.
At some level, true. It's not saying that they have hundreds of words. Not at all. It's just saying they do have
more than Australian have for shit.
Totally. But I looked, and I got to say, there's some other amusing examples that make me think, okay, why does your language have the most for that?
So okay, French is for let's say disdain and disgust for the other.
Oh, French. Now there's two ways to look at this. We can look at a word and say how much is that in that language, or we can look at a language and say what are they freakily obsessed with.
Fuck all our other stories. I don't care about the rest. I just want to do this for another 2 hours.
All right,
this is amazing.
I've got this tool here, and we can look at either languages and see what they really are focused about. What is their snow, or we can look at a word and see where it is most common. I'm going to throw in a few.
And just do conjunctions. They're the most interesting words in language.
I'll do. Here's one. Japanese. Unsurprising, they have the most variety of words for earthquake. I'm like, okay, there you go.
I would have thought the Maori would have been up there too.
The difference between the Inuit and the Scots on snow was small, and earthquake Japanese are miles out the front.
Oh, nice.
But I did like some other ones. Old English is the winner for the concept of misery, which...
How have you been?
I have so many words for misery. They're also.
How do you think it'll be tomorrow?
They were also number one on hedge, and hedge, warrior, and misery. And I'm like, is that England? Is that England?
Misery, hedge warrior. You shall be king hereafter. That's awesome.
The Cornish, my people.
Pasty.
No.
Peas and potatoes.
Colon. Like
what?
Like colon, in your back passage,
And this is Old English?
No, this is Cornish. I've shifted to Cornish.
Old Cornish?
Now. Cornish. No, they were really focused on the back passage. I like this one.
But like before colonoscopies.
Maybe they knew about it. Maybe they were early. Do you want to know what Russians were focused on?
I really do. I really, really do.
Well, so they are the winners for absurdity.
Like the word?
The word absurdity.
Seriously?
They have the most synonyms or ways of describing the concept of absurdity.
Good for them, because they need it.
But also screw, boot, and frost. Now, frost I can get, but there's like a boot. Like
screw as in the object that holds things together?
I think so.
So what kind of screw you want, comrade? There's many. I have like 900 options, and I don't mean from size. I mean style.
Cajun French was number one for chagrin.
What?
I don't know.
In my biggest delirium, I would not make that up. That's amazing. Chagrin.
So look, this
people.
is a fun tool to explore how the languages of the world might be a bit different in their shape.
Hell yeah, it is.
And I think definitely you can see, if you look up snow, you can see it's all the peoples that live in the snowy areas up close to the Arctic. It's from Japan, northern China, Russia, through to the Inuit, northern Canada. But there's other concepts like rain. People talk about rain even when they don't have rain. We're all interested in rain as peoples, and there's the rainy peoples and the non-rainy peoples, but we're all kind of interested in that. Yeah, it's these abstract ones that are kind of fascinating to me. I think
absurdity in Russians blows my mind.
Oh, I can get that. Mandarin Chinese was way out in front.
Bureaucracy.
Yes. Government and examination.
Oh God, the stereotype hurts. I've got a headache.
So look, there you go. There's a fun tool out there. We'll chuck it in the links just to explore how us peoples of the world are focused in our languages in some slightly different things.
Oh, and please, if you dive into that, people listening at home, and start playing with that tool, send us some examples.
Rod, you got some ethics schmethics for me?
Look, I do, and I wrestled with myself. Is this about animals or is this about ethics? And I think yes. So it begins, plenty of animals like drugs, right?
Yes.
Plenty of animals like drugs. Or when they might not seek them out, but when they have them, they kind of go, sweet, I'd like it again. So you got apes, monkeys, simians, and alcohol. Like there are versions of apes and monkeys that will deliberately go for fermented or off fruits.
I always remember when I grew up in Far North Queensland,
No monkeys, man.
the rainbow lorikeets, they do this game where they eat the off fruit in the trees, and then they would sort of play falling backwards.
Or hanging upside down from trees and shit, right?
And flying off just before they hit the ground. And it's like, go, you good things.
That's awesome. Well, some of our simian cousins also exhibit alcoholic behaviours, which is a bummer, but no surprise. Reindeers and psychedelic mushrooms. Now, we've probably all heard this, the idea that maybe the origin of the Santa Claus myth is these red and white mushrooms that get you off your tits. But this is in Siberia in particular, but it seems that the stories blur. Like the story I heard was always that people would eat the mushrooms and go and piss in the snow, and the reindeers would go and eat the snow and go, let's get high. But then other stories say, no, the reindeers would eat the mushrooms and stumble around like idiots, and then other people go and eat their piss snow. But either way, mushrooms getting people high because they're red and right, boom, Santa Claus.
Where's the bit about gift giving and Jesus? Like I get...
That's ayahuasca.
Oh. Right.
When the reindeers flew to South America.
I'm hearing reindeers and red and white. Like, okay. There's a bit of a jump there to make a whole tradition.
Well, look, I'm no Siberian, but it makes sense to me.
Okay. Reindeers on magic mushrooms. What do they look like? What are they doing?
They apparently wobble around and seem happy and disoriented. Like we all do. Dolphins and pufferfish. So dolphins, observations of dolphins, you would have heard this year, they kind of fuck with the pufferfish until it releases some neurotoxins, and they get into it, and then they basically get off their face. And they do it deliberately. I mean, but dolphins are smarter than us. They know. So what are you going to do today? Well, I've eaten. I might as well get high.
They're not smarter than us.
You don't know. They have two brains. They can half sleep and half not sleep at the same time. 6 brains.
It's a dozen brains, man.
They've got a dozen brains. They've got a brain everywhere. Their skin is a brain. Anyway, these are observations, right? There are others, but these are observations. What we need is an experiment.
Yeah.
There's a little bit of science.
I'm remembering that the title of your thing here was Ethics.
1962. Enter Dr. Louis Jolyon, aka Jolly West, and some colleagues at the Uni of Oklahoma. Oh, and also their willing participant, Tusco. Willing participant Tusco, the 14-year-old, just over 3-ton bull Asian elephant.
Whatever it is going to take a lot.
It's going to be great.
It's going to take a lot to get them high.
And in a good way. So apparently this Tusco was considered, the zoo he was in I didn't write down, Wyoming or somewhere else with a W. He was a star attraction, and he was known for his very calm demeanour. This matters. So the aim of the experiment was to determine if LSD could induce a state of musth, M-U-S-T-H, which is a natural state in male elephants, which is characterized by heightened aggression and elevated testosterone levels. So I assume it's like man horniness, seasonal elephant wanna.
You said heightened aggression. That's not man horniness.
Yeah,
like I can understand.
Then you go to a bar and you think, I want to have sex. I might as well start breaking shit and punching people. And then the ladies go, yes, please.
I've heard of other pathways.
Only about
but also, I can understand, giving the elephant drugs where you're like, okay, you need to have some baby elephants, so we'll give you the elephant equivalent of Viagra.
In the defense of the let's call them scientists, I don't think this is about elephant reproduction.
Okay.
But
I don't understand a scenario where you go, okay, what I want is an aggressive 3-ton version of this thing that is nice and calm. Like unless you're Attila the Hun,
this is why you don't do science. You just do science communication. You don't do real science because you don't think this way.
I wonder what an aggressive version of this would be like.
Horrifying.
It would be horrifying. Absolutely.
Horrifying.
No, I've read stories in India and places like that where an elephant goes aggro and it can cause a lot of damage. And you're not stopping it easily.
To be fair, a calm elephant intent on something can cause a lot of damage.
Okay.
They're large.
So why, I've just got to pause for a second. There is a long tradition of experimenting on animals in science, and we use mice. Like, A, they're cheaper, and B, they're smaller.
Yeah,
like,
but it's way worse press. Like, we made a mouse go crazy, and everyone's like, how can you tell?
Let's do a different scientific experiment. Let's get 400 elephants.
No one's questioning that, though. We made this elephant go insane. It's like, yes, you did. Look at this mouse. It seems pretty peeved. You need a mouseologist to prove it. Like, no one cares.
Okay,
no one cares.
Look, I'm thinking about the science here. Obviously, they're thinking about the press.
They're thinking about the science. So they wanted to find out about, the induction of musk. So Tusco was injected with, here's the dose, 297 milligrams of LSD. If you were a 3-ton human, that would still be 30 times the dose you would need to get you tripping, bro. So 30 times the equivalent amount you would expect in a human of the similar size. 30 times. Okay. Not even twice.
Well,
they probably didn't have a lot of LSD. That's my assumption now. They're like, well, we've got to get on with it. Let's just go straight to X. Let's go to top of the pile. So they dose Tusco. Within 5 minutes, he starts trumpeting loudly, falls over onto his side, experiences violent tremors and, as they put it, loss of bowel control, so shit's everywhere. Signs of distress were exhibited, including stiffened limbs and laboured breathing.
I'm hoping he has a religious experience in this. I hope he sees God, elephant God.
Let's be clear. At the very least, we can show. You could say at the end of that moment, right there, LSD affects elephants too.
Yeah. All right.
Unambiguous. Effects. There is an influence. So they went, oh shit, that's too much of an influence. What are we going to do to counteract it? So they gave humongous doses of thorazine.
Oh, are you serious? They're still. Let's go with counteract straight away.
Fuck yeah. He didn't seem happy. He's shitting everywhere. No one's happy about an elephant shitting everywhere, especially if they're also spasming because there's no control of the direction.
But in fairness, elephants are not a pants-wearing people. Like, so,
no, but they should be in this instance.
And they are not terribly toilet trained. So
not terribly.
Like, I think shitting everywhere, sober or not, is the same for an elephant.
This is called shitting, but not if they're not always spasming when they shit. And then you've got that classic video of the elephant putting its trunk up another elephant's bum and pulling the poo out and eating it.
No, that is not a classic.
So maybe
video.
you haven't seen that?
I have not.
It's all over the internet.
I have not, and I have not. I have
ago.
literally not Googled that term. I've Googled every other term, but not that one.
I think you should. Elephant eating poo out of another elephant's bum. It's real. I know it sounds like I'm making it up, but I'm absolutely not. I was mesmerised and horrified in equal measure.
I did see.
Between the first and 17th time I saw that.
The hippopotamus doing...
Oh, yeah, they do the scatter.
No. This is the bidet. I think it's...
That's a Disney movie.
No, they're able to get their dick and sort of spray their butthole with urine to sort of clean themselves out.
Who isn't? I think you're going to tell me something exceptional about hippopotamus.
Sorry.
Like, oh, I compare my own bum to make it cleaner. Like, well, duh. You're a boy.
Listener, if you're able...
Send us video or it's not real.
No, don't. Send him video. Don't
Just
send
me video then.
Yeah, don't. Really...
Rod wants to know at a little bit of science.
No, I'm not against the knowing. I'm not against the knowledge. I just don't need the proof.
The only way to know is with proof. So anyway, they gave him thorazine and then may have caused a significant drop in blood pressure. So did. So they went, let's tranquilize him. So, duh.
Are we adding the rats and the cats and the bears at some point into its bloodstream just to
Why not? To go around and clean it out. So you'll be shocked to hear that, and I love some of the language depending on what you read. Despite these interventions, he died about an hour and a half after the first injection. Despite. I'm going to also be moved to potentially say because or as well as. Anyway, so that's what happened. And what I love now, so the exact cause of death is not necessarily clear. Some suggest the combination of LSD and thorazine plus tranquilizer. Others say, no, LSD alone, that much LSD, you're fucked, mate. A technical term from a journal. The doctor in question, Dr. West, or Jolly, was involved in the CIA's MK Ultra program, which...
Okay.
Did we... I can't even remember if any of our guys as we covered that, but if we haven't, the summary is experimenting on people with all kinds of drugs to change minds, induce truth serums, you name it. MK Ultra did it. Fascinating, horrible if you're in it. So rumours persist also that the good doctor may have been off his tits on LSD at the time as well, and possibly also amphetamines, which may or may not have been accidentally introduced into poor Tusco. But these claims, quote, lack concrete evidence. So the obvious thing to do, this is in the 60s, the obvious thing to do when you see research like that is do a follow-up.
What? No.
Not Jolly. Jolly obviously was, off sitting under a highway overpass, seeing through space and time in a small car in which homeless people had a lot of intercourse. But it's from a movie. Look it up. 1984, psychologist called Ronald Siegel did a similar experiment. However, 2 elephants, much lower doses, and it was mixed into their drinking water rather than injected. They apparently exhibited altered behaviours, but survived without alleged lasting harm. So the ethics part, there are pros and cons.
Give me one pro.
Well, apparently proper dosing matters.
Oh, okay. So we
some control over dose.
I think we knew before that proper dosing matters, and that dosing
it was
wildly.
The 60s. No, even I wasn't born then. The early 60s.
I think we've known for a long time that things in giant measures can kill you.
Do you know why we've known for a long time? Because of Tusco.
No, I don't think that was. I really don't. I really don't think that was it.
Other things. I mean, understanding physiological differences in drug effects between species, and again. Look, right now, because it's 2025 and we're very clever, duh. But back then, maybe not so much.
Okay,
it's like,
look, fair.
One drug is another.
Fair, but I think we probably knew. I think that animal experimentation was around before then. I'm sure there was understandings of dose differences in species.
But a lot of the animal experimentation wasn't necessarily to find out what animals are like compared to us. It was to use them as proxies for us. So there's trade-offs. There's trade-offs. Also, this is a shocking one. Led us to think even harder about, the welfare and rights of animals in experiments. Apparently they have that. Anyway, that's Tusco. And
well, thank you for making me sad.
You're welcome. Why don't you make me happy then? Make me happy with a little bit more.
Well, I was going to go. I was going to say, see if Alex has a question for us.
It's election day tomorrow. We're voting.
It's pronounced erection.
So Australia's voting tomorrow, and with elections come campaigns. With campaigns come posters and signs. You've seen them around, the core flute signs on posts in every yard and things like that. And because we live in Australia, I'm sure this is not confined to Australia, with the election signs comes vandalism of the signs. Now, we've had some funny instances. I'll see if I can share some of these with you. If you're seeing me here, so this is the first one. This is a nice innocent one.
That's a googly eyes. Everyone loves the googly eyes. There was someone that said, stop putting the googly eyes on the town art recently. And I'm like, no, don't. Keep putting the googly eyes on.
Exactly. I was pretty happy with these ones. They're pretty nice. And then you just move on to the, we got the standard,
Take a few teeth out. Is that a pixelated dick on the forehead?
I think it is a pixelated dick.
Did you pixelate that?
I didn't pixelate it. I retrieved this from a news website. So, sorry about that. And I like how they put vote 12 just to make sure, to convince you not to vote for this person. Moving through. So we get not so funny marker stuff.
Oh, no, racist genetic supporter.
No, genocide.
Genocide.
I think that's...
I'm so innocent.
So if we scroll on through, a bit of lipstick.
Oh, lipstick on a pig. Okay.
Yeah.
Right. It definitely says pig.
We get to the spray paint. Just a clever little don't at the top. Yeah. Yeah, that's fine. Then some less friendly spray paint, talking about no nukes on old mate Faraway. And then we get to a bit more excessive. We're starting to burn signs now.
Oh, Nazi signs. Yeah, lovely.
Yep, and the Hitler moustaches.
Lovely.
And then we're moving up in the severity. A few star pickets through the face.
Okay.
Wow, thrown on the ground and stabbed.
That's
a
little bit aggro.
I think my favourite, and I thought this was just the effort I had to applaud, someone's gone with turd. Someone's put a poo on an election sign.
Dog? Cow?
I'm assuming animal because there's a bag underneath, unless I've transported human excrement to this site.
That does look like a dog poo bag there.
And how else are you going to transport?
It's a big dog poo bag. You can see the indentation of 3 fingers that splattered that poop across the sign. So we've gone from googly eyes to literal turds on these election signs. But my question to you is, so you are opponents in a political race. You both find yourself out at night. Maybe you've had a few brewskis. You're facing each other's political sign. I want to hear your most creative or humiliating ways to deface or vandalize that sign to ensure that you win.
You go, Rod.
To ensure that I win?
To ensure that you win, yeah.
Look, I do have in my phone a lot of dick pics of Wills, or at least what I will claim are those.
Yeah.
They're not flattering. So I would go to the local office works and get some printouts of those, and I would stick the small and or diseased riddled looking penises.
Bit harsh, man. Bit harsh.
He asked me to try and win, and you needed space to come up with your own strategy. So I'm offering what I can to really inspire you. Yeah, I think I'd go with disease-riddled sort of, genitalia and stuff like that. Or else I'd just say, I put in brackets with texter, not very good.
Ooh, it's brutal.
Just on Will Grant, not very good. Not as smart as he thinks he is. That's brutal.
But he thinks he's very smart. So he must be just a peg below that. He's
so
fine.
He's 97% smart. I've done my best, man. I've given you time. You've had time.
I couldn't react any other way than to go like, Buddha, just walk away, man. Just walk away. I can't vandalize a sign. Like that's not my bag, man. I mean, smearing excrement on a sign, like people get worked up. The most I can imagine is just push it over. Like, you don't need your message out there. But I'm like, these people that are getting visceral with like a picture of someone. Calm down.
Yeah, calm down.
I really don't have it in my brain to go, you know what? I'm going to get some poo and put it on a picture of you, and that'll teach someone a lesson. I don't know who. Probably.
That's an album cover. That's an album. Poo on a picture of you. It's a punk album.
I don't want to pretend I'm like Buddha about this, but I just can't imagine doing someone to a like. I like your little book that not very good or. Doesn't quite have his policies costed.
A little dumber than he thinks, but not stupid.
So I kind of love a little dumber than he thinks. I think that's kind of fun.
Look, I would do that more, but I thought, well, given I'm thrown under the bus first, I was like, let's double down.
No, you doubled down. So
what I do.
So what is Donald Trump doing to a core flute? Does he? I think he.
Nothing.
Other people will do it for him.
Nothing. Exactly. He doesn't have to.
So we've landed somewhere in between a polite message with a marker, just suggesting perhaps they're not quite as good as they think they are, and severely STI disease-riddled penises.
Yeah, somewhere near the face.
Somewhere near the face. Okay.
Yeah.
All right. That's, it's all.
It could be either.
Rod, you got to tell me about some aliens.
Oh, I got some aliens. This is great. So, alien encounters. After the collapse of the Soviet Union, 91, the CIA, not surprisingly, got its hands on a whole bunch of KGB reports. And some of them talked about alien activity. And one of these was a platoon of Russian soldiers in the Ukraine, in Ukrainia. That's what I meant.
No, you didn't mean that.
Firing at a Russian at an alien saucer over Ukraine. So the CIA documents then were declassified in 2000. So the CIA got the Soviet Union's documents. Then they were then declassified. And so a bunch of newspapers and even Joe Rogan, who's a big listener of this show, started to talk about this sort of stuff. So the report claims Soviets were conducting a training exercise in Ukraine and they saw a, quote, low-flying spaceship in the shape of a saucer. And it was zipping above their heads. So during the encounter, they did the only smart thing that you would do. This looks like an alien or some kind of spaceship. I'm going to fire a surface-to-air missile at it.
Yes, of course.
That's what you do. Like,
of course.
What the fuck
Attack
is that?
the
Let's kill
aliens
it.
instantly.
Yep. What is it? Kill it. The UFO crashed. Hits the Earth. Great. And it fell not far away from the aggressors, and 5 short humanoids with large heads and large black eyes came out of the wreckage.
Sorry, when is this again?
This was... It's hard. I don't have a date on when it happened. It was revealed sometime after 1991.
Okay.
So after these large-headed, black-eyed creatures emerged from the wreckage, they huddled together and they, again, quote, merged into a single object that acquired a spherical shape.
I think American troops do have that capacity.
They do
like
huddle.
imagine this is like a U2 and there's 4, spherical. Yeah, they've got helmets on, and then they can merge to I think that's what that's what the Marine Corps is.
A spherical huddle.
Yeah, unit core God country. It's like that.
Semper Fi, spherical huggle.
Yeah, exactly. So you're not telling me it's not Americans right now?
I'm not saying it's not. I'm just saying I'm just reporting, man. Just reporting. So apparently this spherical shape of huggly large-headed, black-eyed aliens started to grow much, much bigger. It started to just grow.
It can
grew.
expand as well.
It grew. It expanded.
It could inflate.
Then it exploded.
Oh. These are the people that came out and then huddled and then expanded and then exploded.
Yeah, what better way to fuck people up? Then apparently it flared with an extremely bright light. And depending on which source you look at that very instant, 23 soldiers who had watched the phenomenon turned into stone poles.
Oh.
They became enrockified.
That's
ossified.
very biblical.
Isn't it?
Like,
it's very...
I mean, I haven't heard UFOs do that to people before. I mean, it's a lot of probing and more probing.
That's our favourite part.
Miscellaneous probing, but no stone poles.
Now, they actually turned them to rocks, apparently. And the report that was released and blah, 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 included eyewitness accounts and the pictures of the aftermath. And one American agent described it as a horrific picture of revenge on the part of extraterrestrial creatures. A picture that makes one's blood freeze. Only 2 soldiers who stood in the shade and were less exposed to the luminous explosion survived.
They stood under a tree?
Yeah, right. No, popped up an umbrella.
And so the report comes from these 2 soldiers who stood under a tree in the shade.
Look, it's not unlikely.
What are they?
That's
They
where it
doing
came
Soviet spliffs or something like that?
Ooh, Soviet Spliff. Another good punk name. Like a punk band.
It'd be a great punk band.
Welcome to Soviet Spliff. No, 1, 2, 3. We don't care about 4. We're straight into it. So the KGB apparently took custody of the, quote, petrified soldiers and the ruined spacecraft, and they were transported to, of course, a secret base near Moscow. The Soviets found, whatever the light was, somehow transformed the soldiers' living cells into a substance that was basically limestone. They limestonified these people. So the CIA report, if the KGB corresponds to reality, if their file corresponds to reality, so if they're not lying or on drugs, this is an extremely menacing case.
Sure.
I know. It is, isn't it, though?
Sure.
I mean, you don't need to be an expert.
I don't want to be turned into a rock by an alien.
No.
So
Who wants to be limestone?
Menaced. I'm menaced. I'm not quite fully believing that it actually happened, but anyway.
God, you're so cynical. The aliens possess such weapons and technology that go beyond all our assumptions. The final quote I love. They can stand up for themselves if attacked.
Sure. If we know who they are and where they are, you'll get turned into a rock if you...
Who they are, where they are, what they are, if they turn up at all, do they exist, are we on drugs, at least we've got a gun, let's shoot at them.
But they'll turn into a ball thing and then turn us into rocks.
And then make you rocks. Unless you pop up your umbrella and hide behind a tree or something.
I feel like this is either, it's either deliberate KGB disinformation or... Is this them testing the parameters? Like, how credulous are Americans? Like, what are they doing here?
It could also be CIA disinformation, playing on Soviet disinformation, double messing with everyone, going what's true anyway and what's real, paving the way for Ubenfluder Trump. What happened to your face?
I got some logical gaps here. I got some logical gaps here.
It's not your fault, man. You were born that way. We all have logical gaps. Give me your tiny little thing.
Oh, so this one, I just learned a new word. I don't know if you've heard the word, but it's new to me. It's been around for like 5 years. And I thought, that's a thing that people do and it needs a word.
This is so mysterious.
Have you heard of the word sad fishing? Not sad space fishing, which I assume is just fishing. No, people love fishing. Fishing's nice. It's relaxing. That's cool.
But sad fishing is not like I'm feeling really weepy. I'm going to go and drop a line in.
Yeah, it's one word together. Sad fishing. So catfishing, a modern term, where you go out and exploit people to try and draw them in with your ruse. It's a form of fraud or something like that. Sad fishing is a term used to describe when someone posts about emotional problems. They're sad, they're depressed, they're anxious, online in a perceived bid to hook an audience and gain attention. And the reason this came up is that I was looking at some things, and it's doing some reading on the broad social problem of loneliness. And I was like, so not only are people posting online about how they're sad, fine. But also people deliberately going out there and going, oh, if I post about being sad, I get lots of likes. And so there's this idea that people are out there going, okay, I can pretend to be sad online, and then it gathers a whole bunch of friends. And I'm like,
ironically, if
man.
you pretend to be sad enough to get friends, you're just sad.
Oh my God, it made me despair. It made me despair for the whole world, where I thought, do we need a word for this concept of people pretending to be sad online?
Well, not so much do we, but holy shit, apparently we do, and that's worse.
Yeah.
Not do we, it turns out we do.
Probably. So there you go.
Thanks.
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 There's a new word, sad fishing. Deliberately pretending to be sadder than you are to get likes.
Does that make you less sad?
But people should stay here with a little bit of science, where you only get authentic sad if we're sad, or authentic fishing if we're fishing.
Glad if we're glad. We would never be sad just to get you to listen to us, because we're better than that.
No, because you have already rated us at least 5 or
Maybe eight
50 or dozens or hundreds of stars, depending on how many words that the Inuit have for snow.
And if you have any ideas, or you want to correct us, or you want to get us to talk about stuff, email us at whatever Will says the email address is.
The email, of course, is cheers@a littlebitofscience.com.au. Americans, practice that. It's nice to try like other domains. One big word. And you got to say it really fast. When you type it, a little bit of science. A little bit of science is me, Will Grant, him.
Not Will Grant. Rod Lamberts. And we love you. We love you. It's actual love. It's almost lust.
And it's the most professional podcast in the world.
Second most.